Hello YouTube, this is Hybleman here with the last individual member of the Terrorcons, Blot. I've done a little bit of research on Blot, and from what I can gather, he is something, according to the TF Wiki website. If you say Blot is something, you will be right. I tend to think of him as a goblin or a troll, especially since in one of the pictures on the TF Wiki site for him, it shows him stepping on humans and making them go squish. That's the kind of thing a goblin or a troll would do. So as you can see, he is a something. He's got 3 fingers on each arm, and each one is kind of posable. You can move it up and down at the shoulder, and it has a ratchety little elbow joint. His head can also move up and down, but that's more for the transformation than anything. And then his legs can bend. Now, keeping with the theme of all the other Terrorcons, he does have accessories that attach to him in his monster mode. The first one is this purple backpack. And this has 2 pegs on it that clip into 2 holes on the back of his head, like this, and then he has the backpack. Now, I don't really mind the backpack. It's not something I really like for him, just because it doesn't really do that much by itself, and also because you have to keep his head flat in order to do this, and I like it being up when he's in his monster mode, just because when it's like this, he's looking down at an angle from the eyes that are sculpted in, and this way he's looking straight out. Also, to transform him, his head has to be down flat, so it just gives you an extra step. It makes him seem more transformed. But if you're intent on giving him weapons in his monster mode, you do put on the backpack, and then there's a little peg up here, which goes into a hole on his robot mode gun, so he can have a little backpack-mounted cannon come up over his head. Now, because his gun here is the one he uses for his robot mode, it's just not something I would want to attach to his beast mode. I think the backpack is enough of an accessory. And again, I don't even really like the backpack, because I like the way his head looks more when it's looking, straight out like this versus looking straight down, because there is some nice sculpted detail with the nose and the eyes and everything. But that's enough about his beast mode. I want to get toward transforming him. I may switch between beast mode and monster mode and whatever you want to call it. I get confused sometimes. You start by flipping up his legs here and extending out this bottom section. And there's a very cool piece of transformation engineering here. If you look, his head is actually between his legs. And then when you pull this, or when you push this back up, there's a hole in here that sheaths, I guess you'd call it sheathing, the head. And it's, considering that the others all have some sort of panel covering the head, it's a nice thing to keep it hidden. It's sort of tricky to get his head out of here, even with my monstrous fingernails, which are very important for any transformation. Sometimes you just have to stick his gun between his legs and pry his head out like this. Then you can rotate these arms back out of the way and flip up his stumpy Terrorcon arms and insert his gun. And there he is in his robot mode. I don't know, I kind of like Blot better in his monster mode more so than some of the others, just because it's its nice own bipedal creature with arms that are actually more posable than this, and legs which are definitely more posable and individual. The others all have, their own charm, I guess, to them, and each one is different, but specifically for him, I like him better in his monster mode. Because the head is flat like this instead of tilted up, because his head has to be here, his robot head has to be here and his monster head has to be here, you could, in theory, attach the backpack piece to him, but you'd have to rotate these arms up and out to the side, and then it gets a little weird. So one accessory per mode is enough for me, but it depends on what you want to do. And that's basically it for Blot, and that ends it for the individual Terrorcons. In my next video, I will be combining them all, and I'm looking forward to that. It's my first combination of the whole series, and I hope it goes well. So, this is Blot, and I'm Heibelman signing off.